So your values is about circular tech and regenerative impact. So can you describe this, because it's a very important thing, and I know that you are as well part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So how can actually companies look at circular tech and regenerative impact? Because it's a concept that is, of course, fantastic concept, but very few people know about it. Probably Ellen MacArthur Foundation and all our other organizations are focused on this, but we need to democratize this more to actually to everyone.
Yeah, so in looking at the systems thinking that backs up circular technology, the idea of circular economy or circular materials flow, I mean, it's really pretty simple in its essence. It's that there is no such thing as waste. Everything we call waste right now is actually valuable raw materials that needs to come back into the process and go into the same or other materials again. And that circular materials flow, you can look at almost any industry that's using materials to build anything and see the way already in the last 20, 30 years, there's been massive progress made in reuse and recycling, as opposed to this old take, make, waste model that's very linear and extractive. So to take it from the ground, whether it's a tree or a plant or oil, make something, use it, and throw it away is the old model. And the new model is actually to recapture that value, whether it's at the post-production stage or at the post-consumer stage, retrieving that value and putting it back in the system to become value again. It's just biomimicry. It's the way nature works. You know, when the leaves fall off of a tree, they decompose, and that composted biomatter is feeding the tree again, right? And this is what we need to do with all of our systems thinking. And that's where, when you start to think circular, you start to see big opportunities for fixing things, not just reducing impacts, for regenerating things. Agriculture can be looked at in the same circular lens, as opposed to an agricultural system that's built on extraction and harvesting every year, tilling up that soil and releasing all that nitrogen into the air after the harvest, just to make a nice clean brown field, and pouring lots of agrochemicals on there to prevent the weeds from coming back. You know, there's a completely different approach that's more about the continuation of the life in the soil. So rather than tilling that soil up after a harvest, leaving it there untilled for that nitrogen to remain fixed in the soil and to be able to feed the plants the next time around, leaving that microbiology alone in the soil and not killing it with a bunch of agrochemicals, herbicides, and letting that natural system flourish, which ultimately feeds your crops, creates more abundance in your next harvest. So it's really just about seeing these opportunities to transform and move away from extractive practices, and really setting this ball rolling, which can truly snowball in the world around circular production, circular economic theory. Once it gets moving, it becomes really clear that it's more efficient, that resource efficiency is more cost effective, it's more profitable, not just economically profitable, but more profitable for society and for our habitat. So it's just this win-win-win. When people, the more you are committed to true resource efficiency and circularity, the more regeneration we see, and the more proof we see of how economically sound it is. So the more this can be scaled, the more momentum we can develop in the circular economy, the better it is for everyone, you know, for business, for humans, and for all future generations of all living things.
Yeah, this is a key element that I subscribe completely, and I kudos to you and to the organization, but it's not easy, and it's a very challenging part.